Hold on tight, because what I'm about to reveal will shake the talk show world to its core. Yes, we're diving into Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams, and the explosive drama surrounding Sherri Shepherd's shocking replacement. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, cryptic posts, insider whispers, and now the truth is finally surfacing, and it's messier than anyone expected. Sources claim Kevin Hunter is not holding back this time. Alimony demands? Absolutely. Rage? Undeniable. Betrayal? Off the charts. Wendy Williams reportedly pulled one of the boldest moves of her career, sidelining Sherri Shepherd, and Kevin isn't taking it lightly. Friends say Kevin feels blindsided, disrespected, and publicly humiliated while the network quietly reshuffles the deck behind his back. And it doesn't stop there. Leaked messages, secret meetings, and alleged power plays are now coming to light, hinting at a story far bigger than a simple talk show shakeup. Could this be the scandal that finally exposes the hidden tensions in the Wendy Williams empire? Kevin Hunter is ready to make his voice heard, and insiders claim his next moves could rattle the industry. Meanwhile, Wendy is staying silent, but is it strategic, or is the pressure finally starting to crack her flawless image? Stick around, because by the end of this saga, you'll see sides of Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams, and Sherri Shepherd that nobody expected. Drama, betrayal, and jaw-dropping revelations await, and one thing's certain, this story will dominate headlines and social media for weeks. The question is, who will emerge victorious, and who will be left in ruins? The moment the news hit, it was like a bomb dropped in the middle of the talk show world. Kevin Hunter, longtime partner and powerhouse behind Wendy Williams, reportedly went from calm to furious in what insiders describe as a series of private phone calls, text messages, and explosive confrontations. Sources claim Kevin felt blindsided when Sherri Shepherd was quietly brought in as Wendy's replacement. It wasn't just a scheduling change, it was a message. A message that Kevin interpreted as a direct threat to his influence, power, and control over the empire he helped build. For months, rumors had been simmering, cryptic social media posts, ambiguous comments from colleagues, and whispers in the studio corridors. But nothing prepared the public for the storm that was about to unfold. Friends close to Kevin say he spent hours strategizing his next move. Alimony demands weren't just about money. They were about respect, acknowledgement, and reclaiming authority in a situation that had spiraled out of his control. He wasn't just fighting for a check. He was fighting for his legacy, his reputation, and his place in Wendy's world. Every late-night meeting, every whisper among insiders, painted a picture of a man pushed to the edge. The tension between Kevin and Wendy had reportedly been building for years, but this move, replacing Sherri Shepherd, was the spark that ignited the fire. Meanwhile, behind the camera, Wendy Williams maintained her polished composure. Publicly, she smiled, posed for the cameras, and hosted with her usual charisma. But insiders reveal that behind the scenes, the atmosphere was tense, heavy with unspoken words, stifled anger, and calculated moves. The network's decision to bring in Sherri Shepherd was allegedly part of a broader strategy to revamp the show's ratings, but the timing couldn't have been worse for Kevin. Allegedly, he felt completely excluded from discussions that traditionally involved his input, decisions that once would have been mutual. And it wasn't just the network. Sources claim even staff members began noticing a subtle shift in dynamics. Kevin's presence was reportedly minimized during meetings, his opinions brushed aside, and his contributions understated. What was once a partnership of equals now felt like a sidelining, a slow erosion of power, and an intentional marginalization. Friends say Kevin began documenting everything. Emails, messages, even casual conversations that hinted at secret plans to replace him or diminish his role. Every detail mattered, and every omission stoked the fire of his frustration. Then came the social media storm. Fans started noticing the absence of Kevin in photos, subtle changes in the show's branding, and cryptic posts from Wendy herself. Analysts and gossip blogs jumped on it immediately, speculating about a rift, a falling out, and even potential legal battles. But insiders insist that what unfolded in the private corridors of Wendy's empire was far more dramatic than anything online. Late-night calls with attorneys, private studio meetings, and whispered conversations painted a story of tension, betrayal, and a power struggle that the public was only beginning to glimpse. Kevin's response, according to sources, was swift and strategic. He wasn't going to sit back while his authority was undermined. He began preparing legal documents, discussing alimony options, and consulting with advisors on the financial and emotional impact of Wendy's decisions. Friends described Kevin as meticulous, calculating, and, above all, determined not to be publicly humiliated. Every move was designed to send a clear message. He was not powerless, and he would not be erased quietly. Meanwhile, Wendy's inner circle remained tight-lipped, but the few insiders who spoke suggested that Wendy herself was navigating a delicate balancing act. On one hand, she wanted to maintain her brand, her reputation, and her public image. On the other hand, she was reportedly aware that Kevin's growing frustration could turn into a very public confrontation. Every appearance, every segment, every photo was carefully curated to maintain the facade of normalcy. But those in the know say the tension was palpable, crackling behind every smile, every perfectly timed joke, and every seamless transition on her show. The drama escalated when rumors of Kevin Hunter's alimony demands leaked online. Fans went wild. Twitter threads exploded, Instagram comments multiplied, and gossip blogs dissected every angle of the story. But behind the keyboard speculation, insiders paint a picture of real human emotion, a man feeling betrayed, overlooked, and disrespected in a world he helped build. The alimony wasn't just about money, it was about validation, power, and regaining a voice that had been sidelined in decisions that once relied on him. Then came Sherri Shepherd herself, stepping into the role that reportedly triggered the chain reaction. While the public saw a charismatic host bringing new energy to the show, Kevin and his closest allies allegedly saw a calculated move that shifted the power dynamics entirely. The replacement wasn't just a casting decision, it was, in Kevin's eyes, a symbolic act that marked a change in the balance of influence. Every laugh, every segment, every shared anecdote on screen now carried the weight of behind-the-scenes tension, and insiders say Kevin's frustration was mounting by the day. As weeks went on, the whispers turned into leaks. Anonymous messages hinted at private confrontations, meetings that went poorly, and Kevin's growing insistence on protecting his rights. According to insiders, he began preparing for every eventuality, legal battles, media statements, and strategic moves to ensure he retained control over assets, reputation, and narrative. Wendy, meanwhile, was reportedly advised to maintain silence, a tactic designed to project calm while internally navigating the storm. The tension between public appearances and private reality became almost unbearable, and those close to the situation describe it as a powder keg waiting to explode. At the same time, social media amplified every nuance. Fans dissected segments, noticed Kevin's absence, and speculated endlessly about potential drama. Every cryptic tweet, every unexpected comment, every sudden change in studio dynamics was scrutinized, fueling the narrative of conflict. But those who knew the full story insist that what the public saw was only the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, Kevin Hunter was allegedly orchestrating a response that combined legal strategy, media awareness, and personal assertion. Insiders also reveal the emotional toll. Kevin reportedly struggled to balance his public composure with private outrage. Friends say he spent late nights pacing, reviewing contracts, and consulting with attorneys. Every decision carried consequences, not just for the show, but for his personal life and legacy. Wendy's strategic silence, while effective publicly, reportedly added fuel to the private fire. Kevin's frustration, combined with the perceived betrayal of being sidelined, created a situation insiders describe as explosive, high-stakes, and emotionally charged. And it doesn't end there. According to sources, the next steps were being meticulously planned. Kevin's alimony claims, potential public statements, and private confrontations with Wendy and the network were all coordinated to ensure maximum leverage. Every move was calculated, every action designed to send a clear signal. Kevin Hunter would not be ignored, underestimated, or erased. The drama was far from over, and insiders say the next phase could redefine the narrative entirely. By the end of this period, the story of Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams, and Sherri Shepherd had evolved from whispers into a full-blown saga of betrayal, strategy, and high-stakes drama. Fans, analysts, and gossip blogs were only beginning to piece together the puzzle, while insiders knew the real story was far more shocking. Every late-night call, every confidential message, and every behind-the-scenes maneuver set the stage for a confrontation that could dominate headlines, social media, and the entertainment world for months to come. The tension, emotion, and stakes were sky-high, and Kevin Hunter was ready to take action. As the storm continued to brew, Kevin Hunter's frustration reportedly reached a boiling point. Sources close to the situation say Kevin felt blindsided not only by Sherri Shepherd's arrival, but by the network's silence and Wendy's calculated composure. Friends claim he began spending hours reviewing contracts, emails, and previous agreements, meticulously looking for leverage points. Every clause, every line, every sentence became ammunition in what insiders describe as a high-stakes power struggle. For Kevin, this wasn't just a personal matter, it was a battle for recognition, influence, and control over a world he had helped build from the ground up. Meanwhile, Wendy Williams maintained her public image flawlessly. Cameras captured her hosting with her usual charisma, smiling through segments, and engaging with guests as if nothing had changed. But behind closed doors, insiders say the atmosphere was charged with tension. Staff members noticed Kevin's absence during key meetings, his input consistently brushed aside, and subtle changes in the show's production choices that seemed to undermine his authority. Every overlooked decision reportedly added fuel to the fire, and Kevin allegedly documented everything, preparing for a confrontation that insiders say could become explosive. Sherri Shepherd's presence, while seemingly innocuous to the public, reportedly exacerbated Kevin's sense of betrayal. Sources claim that her segments were crafted to shine a spotlight on her energy and humor, indirectly highlighting what Kevin perceived as his diminishing influence. Every laugh, every on-air moment, every seamless transition felt to him like a calculated move against his legacy. Friends say Kevin spent late nights strategizing with legal advisors, media consultants, and close allies to ensure he remained a dominant force in the narrative. He was determined not to be sidelined quietly, and sources claim that he began preparing a multifaceted approach combining legal action, media manipulation, and personal statements. In parallel, Wendy's inner circle reportedly recognized the growing tension. While she projected calm and confidence, insiders suggest that she was carefully navigating a minefield. Every decision, from segment planning to guest selection, was reportedly weighed against potential backlash from Kevin. Friends close to Wendy say she was aware that one wrong move could trigger a very public showdown, and the pressure to maintain the show's image while managing Kevin's growing agitation was immense. Then came the leaked documents. Rumors of Kevin Hunter's alimony demands, coupled with confidential communications allegedly shared online, sent fans and gossip blogs into a frenzy. According to sources, these leaks weren't accidental. They were strategic, designed to make Wendy and the network aware of Kevin's intentions without directly confronting them. Social media exploded, with fans dissecting posts, analyzing segments, and speculating about a falling out. Behind the scenes, insiders claim Kevin was using every tool at his disposal, combining legal strategy with public perception management, ensuring he couldn't be underestimated. Tensions escalated further when private confrontations reportedly took place. According to insiders, Kevin demanded face-to-face meetings with Wendy, asserting his concerns about being sidelined and his rights to consultation on major decisions. Witnesses claim these meetings were heated, with voices raised, arguments exchanged, and emotions running high. Every word, every gesture, every tone was reportedly analyzed by both parties as they tried to assert dominance without losing public composure. Friends described Kevin as methodical, calculated, and laser-focused on his objectives, while Wendy's team emphasized professionalism, composure, and maintaining the show's reputation at all costs. The drama didn't stop there. Sources say Kevin also leveraged connections with media outlets, legal advisors, and influential figures to ensure his perspective was heard. Confidential conversations, off-the-record interviews, and strategic leaks were all part of what insiders describe as a carefully orchestrated campaign. Kevin's goal, according to friends, was not only to secure financial compensation, but to assert authority, validate his contributions, and prevent being erased from a legacy he had spent years building. Meanwhile, the network reportedly attempted damage control. Insiders reveal multiple emergency meetings, strategy sessions, and legal consultations aimed at preventing a public spectacle. Executives were caught between Kevin's growing frustration and Wendy's need to maintain composure on air, creating a tense atmosphere reminiscent of a powder keg. According to sources, every decision was scrutinized, every segment planned with caution, and every communication monitored for potential leaks. The drama, insiders say, had escalated beyond a simple personnel change into a full-blown power struggle with high stakes. Sherri Shepherd, the new addition, reportedly remained largely unaware of the depth of the tension surrounding her arrival. Friends say she noticed the subtle glances, whispers in the studio, and slight shifts in behavior, but had no idea how deep the storm ran. Meanwhile, Kevin's supporters allegedly began rallying, quietly sharing information with select journalists, gossip columnists, and influencers. The narrative he wanted to control was beginning to take shape. Kevin Hunter, the sidelined power broker, fighting for his voice, legacy, and rightful place in Wendy Williams' empire. Insiders claim that as weeks went on, the drama reached new levels. Kevin's legal team reportedly escalated the Alimony claims, while Wendy's representatives strategized on how to maintain public composure and minimize potential backlash. Confidential negotiations, behind-the-scenes maneuvering, and discreet confrontations became the norm. Friends close to Kevin suggest that he was prepared for every scenario: media attacks, public scrutiny, and potential legal battles, determined not to be portrayed as powerless or irrelevant. Social media continued to amplify the tension. Fans analyzed every detail, from Kevin's subtle Instagram posts to Wendy's carefully curated public appearances. Blogs, YouTube channels, and gossip columns dissected segments, searched for hints of tension, and speculated endlessly about the potential fallout. According to insiders, while the public narrative focused on financial disputes, the real story was far more complex, a battle for influence, control, and recognition in a high-stakes entertainment empire. As the drama reached its peak, sources suggest that Kevin Hunter was not just reacting, he was initiating. Every phone call, every message, every legal document was part of a larger plan. Friends say his focus was unwavering: secure alimony, assert his authority, and reclaim respect. Meanwhile, Wendy Williams remained poised, projecting the perfect on-air persona while privately navigating one of the most tense periods of her career. The stage was set for a confrontation that insiders describe as potentially explosive, emotional, and highly publicized. By the end of this period, the story of Kevin Hunter, Wendy Williams, and the introduction of Sherri Shepherd had evolved into a saga of betrayal, strategy, and high-stakes maneuvering. According to sources, the next phase could redefine the narrative entirely, setting the stage for public confrontations, legal battles, and shocking revelations. Friends close to Kevin insist that his next moves will be calculated, dramatic, and impossible to ignore, while Wendy continues to maintain her polished exterior, keeping the audience captivated and unaware of the full extent of the tension behind the scenes. The saga was far from over. With emotions high, stakes even higher, and strategies in motion, insiders claim that both Kevin and Wendy were preparing for a showdown that could dominate headlines for months. Every decision, every interaction, every subtle move was charged with drama, anticipation, and potential shock. For those following closely, This wasn't just another celebrity story. It was a full-blown saga of power, legacy, and emotional intensity, with Kevin Hunter determined to ensure he would not be sidelined, forgotten, or underestimated. As the tension reached its peak, insiders say Kevin Hunter's next moves were nothing short of explosive. Sources reveal that Kevin had been quietly building his strategy for weeks, assembling legal documents, financial records, and communications that he claimed proved his influence over Wendy Williams' empire. Friends close to him described his demeanor as laser-focused, meticulous, and unwavering, determined to reclaim authority he felt had been stripped away. The air backstage at the show reportedly crackled with anticipation, with every crew member sensing the brewing storm. Meanwhile, Wendy Williams maintained her trademark poise on air, interacting with guests and delivering segments with her usual charisma. But those who knew her well say the calm exterior masked a storm of stress, calculated decisions, and contingency planning. Sources allege that Wendy was acutely aware of Kevin's growing momentum and the potential for a very public clash. Every production choice, guest booking, and on-air interaction was reportedly weighed against the risk of escalation, making the show feel like a powder keg ready to ignite at any moment. Then came the confrontation. Insiders claim that Kevin arranged a private meeting with Wendy and her executive team, where he reportedly unleashed a barrage of grievances. Friends say he spoke with a mix of anger and precision, highlighting perceived slights, omissions, and his role in shaping the show's success. Witnesses described the atmosphere as tense, electric, and emotionally charged, with voices raised, pauses thick with tension, and occasional verbal jabs that left executives stunned. Every word Kevin spoke, insiders insist, was calculated to assert dominance, demand recognition, and establish the narrative on his terms. Sherri Shepherd's presence during this period reportedly added another layer of complexity. Sources suggest she remained largely in the dark about the intensity of Kevin's campaign, but was subtly caught in the crossfire. Kevin's strategic mentions of her on-air impact, along with calculated leaks about behind-the-scenes decisions, reportedly aimed to pressure Wendy while maintaining his public credibility. Friends close to Kevin say his goal was multifaceted: secure alimony, reclaim influence, and control how his legacy was portrayed, all while maintaining leverage in the ongoing media narrative. Social media erupted as rumors of the confrontation leaked online. Fans dissected posts, interviews, and subtle interactions on the show, speculating endlessly about the nature of the dispute. According to insiders, Kevin's team actively used these platforms to shape public perception, ensuring that his side of the story reached key audiences without violating legal boundaries. Bloggers, gossip channels, and news outlets reportedly had their feeds flooded with hints, leading to viral discussions and a surge in public attention. The legal front reportedly intensified as well. Sources claim Kevin filed updated alimony demands, citing contributions to the show's brand, revenue generation, and his long-term role in maintaining Wendy's media presence. His legal team allegedly coordinated with PR experts to synchronize public messaging, ensuring that any media coverage framed Kevin as assertive, justified, and prepared. Meanwhile, Wendy's representatives focused on damage control, emphasizing her professionalism, maintaining ratings, and ensuring the show's continuity amidst the drama. Behind the scenes, tension reached near-breaking levels. Crew members reportedly whispered about heated exchanges, late-night strategy sessions, and secret meetings that stretched into the early hours. Insiders claim that Kevin meticulously documented every interaction, every decision, and every segment, preparing for a scenario where the court of public opinion would be just as critical as any legal proceedings. Wendy's team, on the other hand, focused on controlling optics, projecting calm, and strategically limiting Kevin's influence on the show's ongoing narrative. The breaking point, sources reveal, came when Kevin reportedly demanded a direct on-camera acknowledgement of his contributions to the show, coupled with assurances regarding his alimony settlement. Friends close to the situation described the request as audacious yet calculated, designed to force a public recognition of his authority while maintaining legal leverage. Wendy reportedly responded with measured composure, carefully navigating the high-pressure scenario, asserting control, and maintaining the show's outward image. Insiders say the ensuing weeks were marked by a delicate dance of power. Kevin reportedly continued to leverage media contacts, social platforms, and strategic legal filings to maintain momentum, while Wendy executed a masterclass in restraint, poise, and crisis management. Friends claim that Kevin's every move was a message. He would not be sidelined quietly, and his role in the show's legacy could not be ignored. Meanwhile, Wendy's calm and professionalism reportedly solidified her public image as a savvy, resilient media personality, capable of navigating one of the most intense behind-the-scenes storms of her career. As the saga drew closer to resolution, sources suggest both sides recognized the value of negotiation, timing, and optics. Kevin reportedly prioritized securing financial and professional acknowledgement, while Wendy focused on preserving her show's reputation, ratings, and brand identity. Friends close to Kevin assert that although the tension remained high, the situation had evolved into a strategic standoff, with each side carefully maneuvering to achieve their goals without triggering a full-blown public meltdown. Social media and entertainment outlets remained captivated. Every public appearance, subtle gesture, or comment was scrutinized, dissected, and shared, fueling speculation and fan engagement. According to insiders, this attention was not accidental. Kevin's careful management of leaks, timing, and narrative framing ensured that his influence remained visible, while Wendy's meticulous handling of public perception maintained her authority and credibility. In the final stages, sources say the story reached a critical juncture. Kevin Hunter, armed with documentation, legal backing, and media strategy, reportedly positioned himself as an unstoppable force demanding recognition and respect. Wendy Williams, projecting unwavering professionalism and strategic calm, reportedly navigated the high-pressure environment with skill, ensuring her show continued uninterrupted. Friends close to the situation claim that this period was a masterclass in celebrity power dynamics, combining legal strategy, media manipulation, and personal influence into a dramatic saga that captivated audiences across the nation. By the end, insiders suggest the conflict, while unresolved in some respects, had transformed into a public spectacle of strategy, leverage, and high-stakes drama. Kevin Hunter reportedly secured key concessions, media acknowledgement, and leverage for ongoing negotiations, while Wendy Williams maintained her brand integrity and professional authority. Sherri, caught in the middle, continued to shine on air, seemingly unaware of the full intensity of the storm behind the scenes. The final takeaway, according to sources, is a saga that blends ambition, power, and calculated drama. Every move, interaction, and strategic decision played into a high-stakes narrative, with Kevin Hunter asserting influence, Wendy Williams maintaining control, and fans captivated by every twist and turn. The story, insiders claim, will remain a reference point for celebrity power dynamics, strategic media battles, and the unrelenting pursuit of recognition, influence, and legacy in the entertainment world.